for CCTVs?
To my knowledge, Mr. Chair, there's no specific budgetary allocation just for CCTVs. But as mentioned, the schools may purchase it
Correct.
via MOU.
Maybe it's about time to already allocate a separate budget for CCTV.
Securities.
And I will move for the 2026 budget will include a separate item for CCTVs in schools.
Okay.
So I think that will be a good preventive measure. No? Alam natin, tayo mismo, kung alam natin may CCTV, nag-iisip tayo maraming beses bago gumawa ng hindi maganda. No? So, para maproteksyonan natin yung mga eskwelahan natin at mga estudyante at teachers natin, it's about time na maglagay na tayo ng separate budget for CCTVs. Another one, meron kang recommendation for discipline officer. Is that going to be a separate budget as well this coming 2026?
Mr. Chair, our current proposal is that it will be the function of the PDO ones that have already been proposed by the Department of Education for budgeting this budget cycle. And but that particular position, the PDO one, will cover several functions, but one of the major functions that they will perform will be as discipline officer, separate from the guidance.
Yeah, yun ang next tanong ko is how is it different from the guidance counselor? Because by 2026 we will already operationalize yung school counselors and school counselor associates. We will move also to include budget to already hire school counselors and school counselor associates. And in-expand natin, Dr. Hoxon, di ba? Psychologist, pwede na siya, psychometrician, psychologist, pwede na natin kunin. So we will move to put budget. But how is it different from a discipline officer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So upon our discussions also with mental health professionals, it was highly recommended that, and also in discussions with EDCOM, it was also recommended that the person that they seek help from in terms of their socio-emotional well-being be separate from the individual that imposes sanctions and discipline, as the approaches might be in conflict with one another. And that is why we found it prudent to possibly have a discipline officer in the person of the PDO1 that will also hopefully serve as the coordinator of youth formation programs, sports programs that can redirect some of possible aggression or issues towards more productive youth development approaches at the school level, Mr. Chair.
You will have a school where they have, I would assume the most popular now or the most feasible will be a school counselor associate muna.
Yes.
No? So we'll create that position. And then you will have discipline officer.
PDO1, sir.
PDO1
Yes.
na de-designate nyo as discipline
Yes,
officer.
Mr. Chair.
So dalawang personalities in the school.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Because our approaches regarding this matter is one of the interventions would be to provide a bit more holistic formative programs to deter them from these types of risky behavior and unwarranted behavior.
Yeah. Dr. Hoxon, you want to intervene?
Oh, yeah. Actually, sir, yung discipline po, those were the people who really investigate. Yeah. So, ini-investigate niya po, like, for example, bullying, kung talagang in the many series of events and evidences, pwede po talagang bullying yon. So, discipline yon, sir. So, sila din po yung nagbibigay ng sanction. Pero ngayon, pumapasok lang po ang guidance kung based on the evidences, it was bullying. So, papakounsel po yung perpetrator, yun ang bully, at saka po yung nabully. So, doon po papasok si counselor. So, yung atin pong discipline officer ang mag-investigate at papadala po for counseling kung kailangan po talaga ng counseling.
Remember when I was in school, meron lang kaming guidance counselor. Wala namang discipline officer.
Yeah, yes, sir. Pero
Bakit ngayon is that the usual practice now that you separate the
kasi in the ethical practice of counseling, nag-evolve kasi. So, mali na po yung school bukol nung unang panahon na ang guidance counselor ay discipline. Iba na po ngayon, sir. Sir, pero magkaedad tayo siguro. So, naabutan natin. Oo. Yeah.
Well, that's 1980s and 90s eh.
Yeah.
So
Opo.
that's so the
Well,
practice out.
sir.
Okay. I'll leave that decision to DepEd. My point of the matter lang is I know how limited our budgets are, no? So in a perfect world, we'll have all of these personalities in our schools. Pero alam naman natin na limitado. Kaya nga tayo gumawa ng school counselor associate, no? Para mas mababa yung sweldo at mas marami tayong makukuha, no? Pero I'll leave that decision whether to separate in discipline and yung school guidance associate, school counselor associate to the DepEd. No? But for now, what we will be pushing for 2026 is to fill up school guidance, school counselor associates,
And school
and school counselors eventually. No? Yeah. Go ahead, Dr. Echo.
With that proposal, I think for DepEd, it's better to have a pilot implementation first, if that kind of structure is effective. Para before we roll out, and we propose a number of PDOs in the future.
In the mental health law, the DepEd is also tasked to come up with a roadmap, no, on the progressive realization of the number of school counselors and school counselor associates. So, pwede niyong i-tie up doon itong discipline officer para may timing ng rollout. Yeah, can you use the mic, Doctor?
We can set up a different mode of or approaches of tying up the guidance counselor and the prefect or the or the PDO one and other programs that will be handled by the PDO in the school. Before we, I think before we propose for expansion or rolling out in the hiring of PDO one who will work on this particular concern.
Any more comments from the body related to this topic? Meron ba tayong mga comments or you want to weigh in on any of the comments of our resource persons? Yes, Dr. Hoxon, go ahead.
Sir, I think yung pagkakaroon talaga ng discipline, we tested it already in the private school. Talagang effective naman talaga. So I do hope that we can really have a dedicated one. Kasi kung by committee lang tayo, yung committee kasi nagtuturo lahat sila. So parang, kung urgent, paano natin iyaan yung committee kung nagtuturo pa sila? Emergency na yung nangyayari. So if there's really a dedicated one, mas maganda ho talaga. Tapos, yung kahit po isa lang per school, tapos magkakaroon na lang ho ulit siya ng, kunyari parang isang committee like one teacher, one from student services, para makadevelop. Pero yung pagkakaroon ho ng committee ngayon, kung nakikita nyo, yung functionality niya talaga, hindi niya kasi talaga marireach. Kasi nga talagang hindi naman ho talaga sila dedicated for that. They are more into to really teaching. Yeah. Kaya yung sinasabi rin ni ASEC na baka pwede rin na yung mag-handle ng sports and parang mahirap din yun ASEC kasi maganda rin po talaga yung nagbabantay sa school, yung nandun po talaga siya sa school. Para pag may mga ganitong cases, may mga protocol na. Yun po. Thank you, Sen.
Thank you. And we will include that for the 2026 budget para mapondohan na natin kaagad. Yes, Attorney Jacome.
Just to second the proposal, which we also experience in private schools, the two main reasons why we have discipline officer. Sometimes we call it prefect. It's number one, form of deterrence. Because if students are aware that if they do something wrong, there is an office that will be dealing with their misconduct. So before they do something wrong, they think twice. And secondly, because under the law, there are already a lot of disciplinary cases that does not only involve bullying, by the way, but also sexual harassment, for example, Safe Spaces Act, drugs, smoking, and all other fraternities, and all other disciplinary matters that cannot be handled by a guidance counselor. So that's the reason why we deem it really necessary to have it in our private schools, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Attorney Jacome. I've listed down some of our recommendations from today. I'll just flash it, and I urge DepEd and the other agencies to take note of this. These are recommendations that we made throughout the proceedings. So number one, implement the